Ready to have your soul torn into tiny pieces? Here's the book club. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Dave Musson, at Dave Musson on Instagram, and normally this is where I talk to you about Stephen King, but in this spin-off series, I'm here to recommend great books to you. Yes, this is the book club, and each episode of the book club, you will get a book recommendation from me, a book that I've read, that I loved, and I think you will too. I'll give you its synopsis, I'll tell you a bit about the author, I'll give you a spoiler-free review, and I will try and align it to a Stephen King book too, so you've got that as a point of reference. There's loads more already in the book club. Do check out the full playlist, and I hope you enjoy these recommendations. If you do go and read anything I suggest here, do come back and let me know how I get on. Other things you can do, you can check out my range of Stephen King themed band shirts, like my Children of the Corn one that I'm wearing. You can check out my own collection of short stories, Once More Around the Sun, sign up to my newsletter, and a bunch of other stuff as well. But most of all, thank you for giving this video a try. I hope you like it. But this time on the book club, we're covering something short but incredibly powerful, a book that was released in March 2024. This is Blooms at Midnight by Olivia Kay Washington. So here's your synopsis. Blooms at Midnight is a poetic portrait of child loss and motherhood. Its 4-part sections, accompanied by nocturnal flowers, are meant to reflect the stages of grief as someone bereaved might experience the different phases of a sleepless night. It is the author's debut work and has been written in memory of her daughter. And a bit about the author. So Olivia Kay Washington is a winner of the 2023 Indies Today Poetry Award, Best in Genre. She's a poet and writer of prose, a student of grief, and a mother of 3, residing in Virginia with her husband and 2 children. So there's your background. Let's get into my spoiler-free review of Blooms at Midnight. I finished Blooms at Midnight months ago now, and I'm still struggling to really articulate what I thought about it, but I'm going to try and do that here and now for you. Now, this is not a horror book as such, but it is horrific. It is about child loss, and it is a very raw and real portrayal of what that grieving process is like. And chances are, if you like reading horror, you will get something from the darkness of the subject matter here and just the rawness of the writing. Now, this release is not for everyone. It is about child loss. You need to know that front and centre. But it's one of the most powerful and compelling and just excellent pieces of grief writing that I have ever encountered. So the poems and the short pieces of prose that make up this book, they're eloquently and beautifully written, and the language captured here just covers the full range that you would expect of somebody who has gone through child loss. Grief, obviously, but also anger, horror, sorrow, and no small amount of love as well. Take just as one example this quote that has stuck with me. Life didn't stop when we lost you. It slowed just enough to catch a breath you were never able to take. Yeah, this collection feels hugely cathartic for the author, and it is difficult to read. I will grant that, but it's such a rewarding read as well. There's a sense of catharsis for you as a reader as well. It's, like I said earlier, powerful, incredibly powerful. You know, it's pretty rare to see somebody bearing themselves quite like this in public, but it makes for some writing that is just incredible and completely devastating at the same time. And yet, through all of that, I was able to take so much warmth and heart from it that I actually felt kind of uplifted by the end of it. Like I'll keep saying, it is a tough subject matter. But honestly, I was blown away by this as a collection. It is wonderful. Now, when it comes to trying to pair this to a King book, for me, it's quite an obvious match to Pet Sematary. Not the headline stuff from Pet Sematary, though. The stuff I always talk about, the musings of grief and loss and all of those bits that just turn you into an absolute heaving, quivering, sobbing mess. That's where this one aligns to. So to sum up, this is an incredible piece of work, and if you are able to face up to the subject matter, I think you will get so much from it, and you will be utterly floored at the quality of writing here. There were 2 pieces in particular that really stuck for me that I wanted to shout out in this summing up bit. So Kintsugi was simply beautiful, while Flatlined, that one made me put down my Kindle and just stare into the void for a few minutes, and then hug my own children even harder than usual that night when I got home. Writing that is that affecting simply doesn't come along every day. And like I keep saying, if you're okay with putting yourself through that subject matter, you'll be staggered at how good this book is. And despite it only being 50 pages, honestly, I think you'll struggle to read anything quite as impactful as Blooms at Midnight. So thank you to the author and to Indivisible for giving me an early review copy of this back earlier in the year. I loved it so much I picked up a hard copy anyway, so there. So we go, another episode of the book club done. Do let me know if Blooms at Midnight sounds like one you're going to check out, and if you do check it out, do come back and let me know how you got on. And once you've read it, don't forget to review it on Amazon and Goodreads and rave about it on your own social media. This one in particular I think deserves a lot of love. Tough subject matter, amazing writing. So I hope you can go out there and enjoy this one. While you're in the mood for doing things, I've got a range of Stephen King themed band shirts like this Children of the Corn one. I've got my own collection of short stories, Once More Under the Sun. Nowhere near as good as Blooms at Midnight, but it's okay. It's won some awards at least. And what else is there? There's my newsletter. There's a bunch of other things. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the Stephen King stuff if you haven't already. And otherwise, keep reading good books and come and join me for another episode of the Book Club very soon.